Hey, welcome back to the Mailman Show, baby, man. You know we up in here just doing our thing, and it's you got Mailman giving you my perspective so you can look at things from a different lens. We look at things outside the box, not just what it is, not just what they package up and hand to us. We looking at everything around the box and in the box. So let's make it happen, man. Hey, if y'all can do me a favor, hit that like button. That like, subscribe, follow me on these different platforms and turn into dollars for me. Them dollars I can invest back into the Can't Stop brand. With that being invested into the Can't Stop brand, I can hire more people to grow this brand and make it a global brand. You're seeing somebody build something live and in action, and you're watching me do it, baby. So hit that like, subscribe, and follow, man. Let's jump right into this thing. Now, look, I don't know when they're going to release this video, what day, what time, how this video going to come out. So whenever this video come out, I might be thinking about something else completely different or whatever, something else. Not necessarily saying my thought process is going to change, but when they drop it, somebody might come say, well, Mel, why you say that, man? What is you talking about? Remind me so I can be able to know what you're talking about, because I don't know when this video is going to come out. This might rub some people wrong. I don't care about that. I'm going to speak my opinion and what I feel like is an understatement, but I'm just letting you know. So that way, if you hit me up and say, Mel, oh man, you said this, you said that, I'm just telling you now. Remind me so I can address it. I don't have no problem in addressing it. I just might be doing something else or think about something else when you see this actual video. Let's jump into this.
Nothing but $10 to Tyler Perry. All right? $100,000 is nothing but $10 to Tyler Perry. All right? Let me say that again, baby. See, that's why I am no longer a part of the church. Because literally, they are playing in your face. It's been damn near 20 years since I paid a tithe and an offering. Let me tell you why. I remember when I was going through a little slow season as an entrepreneur in my business. Now, I've always paid tithes. I've been the part of 2 churches. All right? And when you are a part of a church, when you give your membership, you give your commitment to giving your tithes and your offerings and anything the pastor asks you. So all my motherfucking life, bitch, I've been paying tithes and offerings. But I got kind of slow one season of my life, and I needed about $356 to pay a light bill. And the church said to me, well, Sister Nikki, we need you to write a letter on why you got behind. And as I was writing that letter, I was in my 20s and I had a little baby. And as I was writing that letter, the Spirit said to me, as I was writing that letter, it was the divine saying to me, as I was writing that letter, I realized that had I withheld the bill money that I needed, let's be clear, and paid the motherfucking bill, let's be very clear, I wouldn't even need to ask nobody in the building for the motherfucking money. Let me tell you what I'm trying to tell you. Critical thinking skills will show you every motherfucking time. If you need money and you barely making it, you are giving to a man and his business, huh? While taking away from you paying for your bills and handling your business. Follow me, okay? Y'all know.
Let's jump into this one. Let's jump into this one. Woo! Wow. All right, man. Let me tell y'all my feelings about the church. See, a lot of people get lost in the church, the preacher, and they think going to church is gonna resolve their problems. They feel like going into a church house, a church building, is going to somehow magically make every issue, situation, problem, frustration, and whatever else might be running through their mind disappear. Now, I get why they get that. because the church has been marketed very well. I get it. They have a marketing strategy that is uniform, no matter if it's Baptist, Christian, Jehovah Witness, Seventh Day Adventist, Catholic, and so forth on. They have a marketing strategy, and they spend money on marketing just like I spend money on marketing my landscaping, my film companies, and everything else. So they have pulled people in to their space to make people feel as if their or the preacher is going to be the one all be all that's going to solve their problem. Man, I'm sorry to tell y'all, that ain't the truth. You've been lied to. You've been lied to. I'm just sorry to tell you. Going to the church house is not going to solve your problems. That's not going to take away that problem that you, when you arrive to that church building, that problem you had is going to still leave with you when you leave that church building. It's going to leave with you when you leave that church building. It didn't go nowhere. It didn't go nowhere from the moment that you decided to get in your vehicle to the moment when you drove to that church, to the moment you got out your vehicle and walked into that building, you listened to that man preach, you took that money out your pocket, you put it in that offering tray that they pass around. They're going to make sure they did that offering tray out. A church is not going to miss offering. They might forget to say something in a speech that was supposed to be said. That when they wrote the scripture out, he could have forgot to say something like, man, I forgot that. It's all good. I'll do it next weekend or next time we go to church. But that offering collection plate is going to come through just like routine. It ain't going to miss its beat. And then now you can put your money in. You get up, y'all do your little praise dance, and y'all leave, you walk out, and the problem's still there. So if you owe Georgia Power $150 before you got to the church building, when you walk out the church building, you're gonna owe them $150. So the church is not gonna be what's gonna save your problems. So get that out your head. The only person that's gonna save your problem is you. The only person that's gonna change your situation is you. And the way that you change your situation, you don't need me. You don't need a man that's standing up on what they call a pulpit in front of a microphone that's talking to you through a speaker. You don't need him to change your problems. The only person that you need is God, the higher power, and yourself. See, you don't have to have a relationship with God through me or through no other man, because I'm God's child just like you God's child. He don't deliver the message that I need all the time from that one man at that same church house. See, what people don't realize is God uses all his kids, because we all his kids, in order to deliver a message to you. You might walk out the store and go to Quick Trip and meet a stranger. You didn't even know you were going to meet this person. And that stranger could be the one that's going to bless you with that $150 to pay your electric bill. You might get in your car and drive up the street and ride around not really knowing where you're going to go. You just need to ride for a while and think. And God going to lead you to the place that's going to get you to where you need to be. Because you got a direct connection. But see, when you put your faith in another man to feel like you got to go through that man in order to get your connection to God, God looking down at you like, you know, you my child too, right? You know, you know you my child, right? So I'm gonna bless you regardless. But see, what people get the misunderstanding is they think since they went to that preacher man and they told they got their prayers to that preacher man, and then that blessing ends up coming some way, somehow, that blessing came through that preacher man. Now that blessing didn't come through that preacher man, because the same time that you were talking to that preacher man, God was listening too. You just giving the wrong person the praises for that blessing. See, you didn't have to go to that man to get your blessing, because whatever God had in store for you was gonna come. And if that blessing did come through that man, that could have been the blessing in that time where that man needed, where God used him to bless you for that particular situation. But he's not the one all end all be all. So that's what people got to understand. You are a preacher yourself because you are a blessing to somebody else. God gonna use you to bless somebody else, so they looking at you as a preacher. See, the thing about why church was supposed to be Well, let me rephrase it. The thing why people were supposed to meet up at church is real simple. It ain't complex at all. It's very, very simple. It's because let's say I go to Cartagena. All right. I go to Cartagena, Colombia. You got another guy that go to Thailand. You got another lady that goes to Jamaica. You got another lady that goes to Africa. You got another person that goes to Aruba, so forth on. So you got 10 people that go to 10 different places, right? And then we all come back on Saturday. We all return back from our trip on Saturday. Get back on the front of that trip. Now we're gonna meet up on Sunday. We all preachers now because we all got different experiences. So we're gonna meet up on Sunday. When we meet up on that Sunday, I'll tell you my experiences that I had when I got there and went to Colombia. You're gonna tell me your experiences that you had when you went to Jamaica. You're gonna tell me your experiences that you had when you went here and so forth on and so forth there. You're gonna give all your experiences. Everybody gonna have what happened, what they did, how they did this, and so forth on. So now when we all share that experience with each other together, we're all able to preach and say, hey, I went to Colombia, I did this, and I did this, and I learned that, and you learned this, and so forth on. We all went over there and we all learned so many different things. And I'm gonna tell you, if you ever want to go to Colombia, so to give you a leg up, don't do this and don't go here and don't go there because this happened, but you should go do this, you should go do this, and should go do that because this will happen. We're all preaching. We're all preaching in some form, shape, or fashion. And we all share knowledge and information to bless the next person as we move forward. That's what the church house was meant for everybody to come and share their experience. Not for one man to be able to say he the one all be all. No. They don't work like that. That's not how it goes. Because no one man is better than the other. Because every preacher that died at some time. It was a preacher back in 1930. It was a preacher back in 1950. It was a preacher in 1980. It was a preacher in 1990. And so some of them preachers and died. And then another man picked it up and said, well, I can be the one that's going to be the preacher. And I'm going to get these people to follow me. And then think about this. You got churches. And then they pay the preacher. And then when that preacher that's been at that church for there so many years, they bring in a new preacher. And then after that preacher comes in, he going to do his 10, 15, 20 years, however long he going to preach at the church. And then the business got to find the shareholders. They got to find somebody else to come in to run the company. And the company is the church. And the preacher is the CEO. That's the face out there of the company. And everybody else is the hidden shareholders behind it. Church ain't nothing but a well-ran business. That's it. So stop acting shocked when you find when it act like one. Don't get mad because it act like a business. That's what it is. It's a business. You expecting spiritual grace from a financial institution. Like, come on now. Come on. This is a corporation. You got to always remember one thing. Faith is free. It's free. Faith is completely free. They put a price on religion. They put a price on religion. Now remember, faith is free. You can have faith. If you walk in faith and you really trust in God, that's completely free. But every time you go to Sunday, they're gonna pull out a tray for that religion, and you gotta pay for that. Wow. And then let's even go here. Let's go. This is real deep for me. Because I see how many people get lost in this. You got some of your biggest hypocrites that's in church. Some of the biggest hypocrites that you know in life are in church. Because think about it. On Sunday, they holy. And that's from, let's just say, I'm going to give them from 8 o'clock Sunday morning. Matter of fact, no, because they ain't even holy. While they getting dressed, they cussing somebody out. So let's just say church is 2 hours. And if they go to the 9 to 11 service, okay, but from 9 o'clock a.m. to 11 o'clock on Sunday, they holy. 11:30, they back to who they really is. Then if you go to the 11 to 1 service, they holy. By 1:30, They back to who they really is. So from that 1:30 time frame until the next following Sunday, you got this person that's gonna cuss you out from head to toe. They're gonna tell you I ain't giving you a muck thing. They gonna tell you everything but a child of God. But on Sunday, again, from 11:30, from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, oh, it's hallelujah. Praise Jesus, the spirit in me. They go to shaking and they get the tambourine. Don't let those folks fool you. They're the biggest hypocrites. And then you wonder why you meet a stranger that you don't even know. I'm talking about somebody you don't even know, and they give you the biggest blessing. And you quite like, what? You don't know me, but why would you do this for me? Because you got to understand, we all God's kids. We all God's kids. You don't know how God gonna send his child to you. You just gotta always be open-minded. You gotta be open-minded. If you're not open-minded, you lost. Because if you think church ain't a business, you ain't been paying attention. Not none whatsoever. So stop believing that going to the church is gonna solve your problems. Because if that was the case, the reason why you pay tithes is because you're supposed to be pouring into the pace that you go to get the knowledge and the faith from. So when you put them offering and tithes into that collection pot, you're paying for the electric bill at the church. You're paying for the property taxes that you got to pay for the building. If the building is financed, you're paying the finances on to keep the building so you can have it. You're paying for the internet, the all the chairs and benches and stuff that you got to have for the building, to keep the parking lot up well so you can be able to park. If you need to have security in there, you're paying for them type of things. But then you also are paying, it's like supposed, it should be an investment. If you fall behind, if you've been going to a church, let's say for 10, 15 years, and you have never missed an offering or a tithe, and you fall on hard times, let's say your rent, you lose your job, you gotta still continues to pay rent, gotta pay your car insurance, your car note, or whatever. You should be able to go to the church and say, hey, I need help. Can you help me? The church say, hey, we're going to what you need. Say, hey, I need to pay this bill. I need this much help. And I need X, Y, Z. Okay, the church should be able to look in that and say, yes, you've been paying into the church and you didn't help the church do X, Y, and Z. You need $2,000. What we're going to do for the next, we're going to help you out. We're going to give you $6,000. And if that's going to cover you for 3 months to figure out a plan. That's how we're going to help you out, to be able to help you out to get you into a level to be able to get on your feet. Not the church, you tell the church that you got a problem, and then the church go to everybody, every member in this church and say, hey, such and such need the money for this, and we're trying to collect the money for this, and whatever, so forth on, so we can pay. Why they got to put your business out when you came to them privately and personally to talk about what you needed to get done, but they got to put your business out to the whole congregation? They didn't put how much money you were putting into that offering for the last 10, 15, 20 years. If you were putting $2,000 in there every Sunday, they don't put that out there and say, you putting $2,000 out there, because they don't want the people to know how much money they get. But they're going to put your business out to tell people, hey, put in extra money to help sister such and such or brother such and such. That should tell you right there that the church is not for you. They're using you for what they can get out of you. And they're going to milk you like a cow. Stop letting them milk you. Stop letting them milk you. Let your faith be tied directly to God. So I'm going to close this out, man, because I go on about this. I got a long, strong feeling on this, man. I'm very serious about people manipulating people to get finances out there, because then you see the preacher putting up in a Bentley. The preacher to something, but then the preacher tell you, oh, no, I got that Bentley because I own this property over here, and I own that property over there, and I got the, but I'm a person, I go to the origins. Where did it all originate? See, yeah, you might do own this real estate over here, and you own that over there, you own this over there. You might do. But if you've been running this church for 20 years, did you buy that building with the money that you got after the first 5 years of running the church, and you had extra money left over, and you said, "Well, shoot, we got the church, and the church made me an extra 30,000. I can go over here and buy this building that's abandoned for 10,000, and use the other 15,000 to rebuild it and get it back up, rent it out to somebody for 3,500 a month." And I just keep doing that every month, every year or so. And when I get money from the church, you keep buying more buildings and more buildings. And then 10 years go by, you own all these buildings, you making millions and millions of dollars off of these buildings, but you originally got the money from the church. And then you put up in a building like, no, I ain't get the money from my congregation. That money ain't paid for. That's a business and investments I got that pay for that Bentley that I got driving out there. No, dog, you a lie. I go back to the beginning. See, everybody else start going to the moment of saying, yeah, we do know the pastor owns a lot of buildings, but you got to ask. You've been going to that church from the beginning of time. You remember when that pastor was preaching out of a storage building. You remember that. And y'all was paying tithes to get out that storage building, and y'all moved into a building. And then he never told y'all the excess money that he had when he started investing into that business of buying other buildings. He never told you about that part. So now 10 years later, you know that he been owning buildings, and them buildings are being rented out, and you gonna co-sign something that you don't have full knowledge of. Understand everything. Don't just go by what you see in the moment. Go back to the beginning if you want to get a full understanding. But most people won't go back to the beginning because it's a lot of work to do when you go back to the beginning. That's a lot that you got to do, and they don't want to take that time out. But if you're going to get that man or that person or that woman that much praise, you need to fully understand what you're praising to, because at the end of the day, I'm only praying to one person, and that's the higher power. And I got enough faith to him that he's going to make it happen. And another thing that people forget, prayer with no action will not get you anywhere. So you can pray all day, but you can't sit on your couch and think that the chick is just going to fall in your lap. You got to say your prayer and go out and do your part. You go out and do your part, the rest of it will fall into place. That's the number one thing where people get it confused. They think that it's just supposed to happen. It's not going to just happen that way. So stop confusing spirituality with structure. The church has a mission, but it also has a business model. Don't be surprised when they play by the business rules. That's what you got to always remember. We up out of here, man.